This week on Not Sauce for Work, Mackenzie rants and John Factually take over for Peeze and Terry, who apparently do not know how calendars work. Joined by Eagle at Master Control, today we will talk Brad Tree Living fleecing Bill Zito, the Jays are on fire since the departure of Charlie Montoyo, and some homegrown heroes before jumping into rapid fire.
And welcome to the show, everybody. This is a weird intro this time because Peeze and Terry aren't here. We have John Factually and Matt Mackenzie filling in right now, and they are remote, so they don't have any of my audio cues here, which is wonderful. How's it going, boys?
Good, man. Happy to be on the show. This is going to be a first for the both of us, so welcome to the ride, people.
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Any fun and exciting stories from your guys' week and everything? I know Terry is in the middle of Europe. Peeze is not the middle of Europe, more like the West Coast and everything. Any fun adventures in your summer plans? Anything that got done?
Not recently. Go for it,
mean, it sounds like they're having more fun than us. I'm hopefully going to try to get out to England in the fall sometime, but as of right now, just home sweet home.
Yeah, I'm same boat. I'm living vicariously through them, so hope they're having a good time. I got my trip into Italy already this summer, so I'm my budget's tapped out now.
So what you're saying, actually, technically I was in Europe in May, so we've all done Europe, or at least we will do Europe this year, is what I'm hearing.
That's the plan.
When you can travel, might as well do it, right?
Exactly, yeah. Now that we're allowed to travel again, although the airports, I mean, I don't know if I want to try that at this point. That's all fucked right now.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm definitely not flying through Pearson anytime soon, let me tell you.
All right. So, John, this was a fun experience for you actually putting together the script for this week and everything.
Yeah.
I was like peeling back the curtains on our whole process. Putting this together is very difficult to find topics and everything. And it's actually looking like a pretty good show. Why don't you give us a little rundown in terms of what we're going to be talking about?
Sure. So, kudos to Peeze. Well, I don't know how you do this every single week. This was way more effort than I expected, but I'm excited for it. So we're going to start things off with a little bit of NHL talk. We're going to talk about the Calgary Flames trade with the Florida Panthers. Seeing as I'm here in Calgary, it was a massive deal for the city. I kind of think that they fleeced Florida, but we'll get into that. We'll follow that up with some Blue Jays talk. Kind of speak about the recent heater they're on since Montoyo was let go. During the NHL free agent frenzy, which was a nice little touch by the Blue Jays. And then Matt and I are going to roll out a little special segment that we put together ourselves. It's called the Point Claire Parks Program Roll Call. So we'll dive into that a little bit more once we get there. And then we'll finish things off with some rapid fire. So should be a good show.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. And with that, I guess it's time for the news.
Terry, it's the news.
Is it, though?
I had to give Peeze that one shout out. So, starting out in Calgary, after losing superstar Johnny Gaudreau for nothing, Flames GM Brad Tree Living pulls off an absolute blockbuster, sending Matt Tkachuk to the Florida Panthers with a 4th-round pick in exchange for Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, a 1st-round pick, as well as prospect Cole Schwind. Matt, let's get some early thoughts from you before I go on an absolute rant.
Well, yeah, what a move, eh? I mean, it looked like everything was going to go downhill with Gaudreau leaving for nothing. And if the rumors are to be believed, I'm pretty sure for also less money and less term than what Calgary were offering him. So that wasn't a promising start. But then to get a return like they got from Florida, very, very impressive. I mean, they're potentially looking at the same problem next year with Huberdeau, but Tkachuk had 104 points last year. Huberdeau had 115, and then don't let it go under the radar. I really, really like Mackenzie Weegar, and as a nice like middle or maybe even a bottom pairing defenseman on an elite team, like Mackenzie Weegar is pretty good, man. He was 44 points last year, and I know a lot of people don't look into plus minus. I do. He was plus 40 last year.
Always like a plus minus when it benefits you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I love the trade for the Flames. I think that it gives them some options now. I mean, you're going to lose Tkachuk, who's going to walk anyway, so you might as well maximize that return. Maybe it must have been a cap issue. When I first saw this trade, I assumed that it was because Huberdeau and Weegar probably told Bill Zito, like, look, we're probably going to walk and test for agency next year. So that's why Florida went and got the safe option, got a top-level player and signed him for long-term. And then I'm watching the team's press conference, kind of introducing the two players, and both of them said they're open to signing long-term in Calgary. So, and I've heard rumors that the conversations with Huberdeau, had started, but they never really gained traction. So I found that a little bit surprising. But I mean, what a haul! And let's say worst case scenario, you're Calgary next season, both players end up walking. At least you've given yourself the opportunity to sign them long-term, and you've assumed that risk, but you've gotten a first and a B-level prospect in the process.
True. So that's right. Like the worst case scenario is you got a first rounder and a B-level prospect. That's right. And at the same point, like, I mean, you'd hope that the two guys showing up to the new city aren't right away like, nah, we're one and out.
Yeah.
So like, it's not gonna make them a lot of friends right away, but they're saying the right things. But yeah, he bought, like, the Flames organization has bought themselves at least another year in an attempt to sign another superstar, which they weren't gonna get.
Winning cures everything, right? If they start winning next year and they're in the same situation as they were last year, fighting for the top of the division, why wouldn't both players want to stick around if they can see themselves as part of that long-term future? And Calgary's they've done a pretty good job at managing the cap as a team. Like, they've got, I think, 2 players signed long-term past 2 seasons from now. So that you've got the money available to sign these 2 long-term. If you got to do some cap gymnastics, so be it. They're worth it, but they're in a great spot. I think that their top 6 looks pretty good now. They probably still want to get another middle 6 winger to put in that lineup. But I think the craziest part of this all is that I think if they were to go after Kadri, it's plausible. Like, not probable, probably not likely, but it's plausible. Like, they've given themselves an opportunity to go after him and round out that top 6 and actually make themselves a contender now.
No, for sure. And that's that's really all a GM could do, right? Is just give the best possible option for his head coach and the group of players a chance to get to the playoffs and hopefully win the Stanley Cup. I mean, and this was honestly just like what a turnaround. Just like the fact that, like, Tkachuk, you knew he wasn't staying, and then to be able to get a haul back like this is absolutely insane. I'm still flabbergasted by that. It's because it's not like they were in a position of power either. It's like it was like well known that he wanted to leave, and to get this back is absolutely insane.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree.
And at least like Huberdeau was like used to the cold weather, so maybe he won't take such offense to it like Tkachuk. But
I could tell you, man, Calgary winters aren't nearly as bad as Montreal winters, and once that Chinook comes down, which is like the heat stream that comes off the mountains every once or twice every winter, they'll be all right with that. That's pretty nice.
My aunt lives in Calgary though, and she always tells me there's one random snowstorm every year. Like it's either in June or like not June, but like April, and then or really early, like in September.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
But then it goes away, right? So you guys are good.
Yeah, we're laughing. One more thing I do want to say though, because I think a lot of focus was put on Huberdeau, obviously, and justifiably so. But when you put Weegar into that defensive core that they have with Sutter and Markstrom as kind of like part of that whole defensive tandem and game plan strategy, now you're looking at Rasmus Andersson, who's probably going to play next to Hanifin again. They were pretty solid last year as a pairing. I would probably keep Chris Tanev, who was low-key their best defenseman on the season last year, next to Shillington, who had a breakout season playing with him last year. And now you slide in Mackenzie Weegar next to Zadorov. That's going to be that you're not going to want to play against them. And I think that you'll probably, with the way that Zadorov plays with that stay-at-home, very aggressive, tough-minded defensive mindset, we might see Mackenzie Weegar hit this next gear that no one's seen yet, because he has that offensive opportunity to get up ice, and he knows that he's got that rock behind him. So it's going to be fun to watch.
But he's no slouch either. Like, I wouldn't want to go in the corner with Weegar either. Just ask Paul Byron how his jaw felt.
I was gonna say, I feel like every Habs fan remembers that Paul Byron fight, so everyone knows this guy's pretty tough.
What a good Canadian boy, eh? Just he knocks him out, and he's just kind of like, sorry.
Yeah, the head's down. Like there's no sense of pride. That just feels remorse. But yeah, that's hockey sometimes.
That's it. That's it. But you touched on some free agents, and Kadri's not the only one left on the board here, eh? We still got some big names.
Still, like surprisingly, some big names here. Like how he hasn't signed, how Klingberg hasn't signed.
Yeah.
Like
those the three names that I have, the big names up: Kadri, Klingberg. And what about PK, man? Who's looking after PK Subban?
This guy, he's living the dream right now this summer, man. He's not on the training wagon. He's on the I'm gonna party my face off wagon right now.
Hey, when you come off the contract, he had
oh yeah, 100%.
If he comes back, it's for fun.
Yeah, I would, man. If he signed in Montreal on like a nice little short, low cap hit contract, like if we can make the money work, that would be awesome. He'd take so much of the limelight off of the other players, and he would thrive off of it because he loves that stuff. So.
I think we're going to touch on this a bit later on a recent trade they made. But when you start looking into who is on the right side of defense for Montreal now that Petry's gone, David Savard's your number one on the right side.
Yeah, and then you got to follow that up with Chris Weidman, who I loved him as a 6D last year, but he, that's where he's got to stay.
Yeah, it's but like you're saying, I think it'd be great for the city if PK came in honestly for like $1 million 1 year. What is the harm?
Exactly.
You'll make the money back in jersey sales again. It's a win-win for the organization. If he's bad, whatever, it's not a big cap hit. And if he's good, what a surprise.
Exactly. If he can find his game in any way, and he's just
he'll be loved no matter what.
Exactly. And there's always going to be that portion of the fan base that's going to absolutely be thrilled because they thought that it was a mistake to trade him in the first place. So,
yep.
What's your downside?
Oh, because that little pocket was so loud when we then traded Pacioretty.
Yeah. Oh, very loud.
I'm not sure how confirmed this was, but there's always the whispers that it was him and Pacioretty that didn't get along, and then when Pacioretty went out too, it's like, oof, those people came out in full force, and maybe rightly so.
Yeah, they were holding on to that moment for a while.
I do want to play devil's advocate for something here about Calgary, right? So Gaudreau and Tkachuk both want to leave. Now, the reasons they've cited are scrutinable, I guess is the way you can use, right? Like, they haven't really told us why, even though you can kind of assume based on reading through the lines and everything. So what's your thoughts towards maybe the organization has a problem in the way they interact with players, where even though, okay, great, they just fleeced Florida, but all the players they're going to come in are maybe we don't want to play here either long term, right? Because this organization fucking blows or something. Like, what do you think is the problem with Calgary?
Hard for me to speak from an organizational standpoint. I don't know the ins and outs that well. Obviously everyone in Montreal, we all follow it to a T. I will say part of it maybe is the arena is I think it might be the oldest arena in the NHL at this point. If not, it's up there. So, maybe some of the players looking around going look at these state-of-the-art facilities that some of these teams get to play in. I don't want to play in that and then have to go through the cold. Calgary's not as cold as some of the other, like Montreal specifically, as an example, but oh man, yeah. But it's awesome, man. It's not a very big downtown core. You're not going to get the Montreal, the Toronto vibes from it. It's a little bit of a slower paced lifestyle, but it's fun. If you're an outdoorsy person, this is exactly where you want to be. So maybe Huberdeau has been, wanting to get some hikes in, or Mackenzie Weegar's been the guy that's gone up to the cottage when he was younger. Going to try and bank on that to maybe push the city of Calgary on them. But yeah, man, there could be something to be said about maybe guys don't like playing for Daryl Sutter, but if the coach is what's making you leave, it's probably not the coach. It's probably you.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. For anything that's going to be said about how the organization is run, that's purely speculative on our part. But the only thing I can maybe add to your point there is I feel like there's that extra bit of pressure when you're playing a Canadian city, because everyone knows who you are. And John, you can probably have a better reflection of this being in Calgary. Is it as crazy or almost on the same level where at least 50% of the population would be able to know who the entire roster is walking?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay. Maybe some guys won't like that,
it's like this weird mix of like small market, big market kind of combined into one. Like everyone in the city is a fan of the team, and it doesn't have the same population density as some of these bigger markets, but it's full blown, like the whole city gets behind it. So you don't get to like live that kind of bit more of a secluded, quiet lifestyle, which just from the sounds of it kind of seems like what maybe Johnny Gaudreau was searching a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he picked a good place for it.
Fair. All right, moving on. So the Blue Jays recently fired former manager Charlie Montoyo. They tried to sneak it under the radar during NHL free agency. However, since doing so, the Blue Jays have been on a heater, going 7-1, winning 6 in a row, including a sweep of the Boston Red Sox. I saw the team put up 4 touchdowns in one game, including this inside the park home run.
In this lineup for the Jays.
Raimel Tapia up for the 3rd time. Sends a drive to deep center, but
just a perfectly fielded ball here.
And it's way over the head of Durant. He never saw it.
But then the effort to just look at it, that's so funny. That's the part I can't get over.
You know when you've seen defeat in a man?
Yeah. That's my favorite part about like when the ball gets lost in the MLB is like the first clip, the guys look like they know what they're doing. And then all of a sudden they're just like, nope. And then just like, I hope someone's covering me.
So I've had different people tell me different things about what happened here. So obviously he loses it in the lights, in the sky, whatever it is. But then when he realizes it falls behind him, does he think that it bounced over the fence and therefore it's a dead ball? And that's why he gave up on it? Or is it because the left fielder's running for the ball and is going to get there before he's ever going to get there? Like it's such a strange play. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how can you have so little effort put into a play?
It's definitely the latter. Speaking from experience, like if you fuck up a play and like it's more like a hit to the ego and you're just like, oh, please cover me. I want this play over and done with. Let's get the next batter up. And that's the look the center fielder gives right there.
Like right here.
But he is looking over his
What
shoulder,
are you
though.
doing?
He knows the left fielder's there. He knows the left fielder's there. I promise you, because you need even if a play is straight, the only time there's no cover is when a ball is being ripped down the line. That's how you know as an outfielder, if you slip, you do anything stupid, you know you need to get there still. But anything in between the lines that would draw 2 outfielders, you're supposed to cover. You see the aggressiveness of the slide there by the left fielder too? No quitting that guy.
Center fielder's mind is in a complete pretzel.
Yeah, he's done so. Can I hit you with a fun fact on that play?
Yes.
That is the second time the Blue Jays have ever hit an inside the park grand slam. The only other time they did it was in 1989 at Fenway Park.
I love that. That's amazing.
Right? I'm not gonna say here I knew that off the top of my head. I looked it up, but I thought it was a fun fact and thought had to bring it to the show.
Do you know if the center fielder also had a brain fart in that game, or was it more legitimate than this one was?
Sorry, what was that?
Do you know if that one over there was also because of a brain fart by the center fielder, or was it more legitimate as in inside the park grand slam?
Oh, it was in 1989. Were those games televised back then?
It was baseball televised.
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. But we'll get back to the task at hand. And the Jays have turned it around since the firing of their coach. And I'm very happy that you brought up the fact that they did it on free agent frenzy. That was very funny, because I was actually away on a work trip, and my roommate brought it up, and I was like, I got shocked. I'm like, well, we've been shooting back and forth, all the NHL deals going down, and then he just slips in, the Jays fired their coach, and my brain like glitched. I'm like, what? Who are the Jays in the NHL? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I guess that's true, because they did go 2-9 over the last 11 before the firing, and have gone 7-1 since. But like, I mean, it's 2-9 is not good, obviously, when you just look at it. But it is baseball. There's 1,000 games each season. Like 2-9 can be made up very quickly, like the Jays have done right now. And I did like Charlie. I mean, I thought he brought a good energy to the team, but Oh, well, the organization didn't agree, and they went out, they spent money, and at least it looks like they're turning it around now. They do hold the top wild card spot as of right now. I know they're playing right now. If they lost and Tampa Bay won, I believe they'd switch, but they're still in a wild card spot right now. And yeah, I mean, you can touch on this. I feel like this is one of the things that transcends all of sports. Teams tend to turn it around when the coach gets fired and replaced with either a new coach or like the Jays are doing right now with John Snyder being the interim coach.
Yeah, man. Like there's no like, I guess, cookie cutter answer to this. Like, if he lost the locker room, that's a whole different story. I don't know. It didn't appear like it to me, at least. This seemed like it was a message from top down, kind of being like, hey, we brought you guys in to do a lot better than this. Like, we expect results. We better see them. So I would assume that probably one of those two factored into like this little push they've got going on right now. I don't think that should equate to 28 runs in a game, but I think that take it as you can get them, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's I think it'll be a while before we see 28 again.
Yeah, I don't doubt that, but I mean, I if there's something that's going to get me to watch baseball, it's definitely 28 runs.
I remember I know exactly where I was. It was 9:45. I was at Manoir, a nice little place in Point Claire for the listeners that don't know. And I was with a buddy, and he looked at his phone and he said, "It's 25-3 in the 5th inning." I was like, "What just happened?" And then, sure enough, just like that, the game went on the screen, and we're like, "Okay, it's not a lie. This is real life."
Oh yeah, I got off the ice at hockey, and everyone's pulling out their phone, and someone's like, "Guess the score in the Blue Jays game," and everyone's just throwing out numbers, and it's like, "Nope, more." Yeah. And we're at like 19 at this point, and guys like, "Okay, come on now." Like, there's nothing. He's like, "No, man, 28 points," and we're like, "Okay, well, that's a beatdown."
I remember getting the TSN alert on my phone, and I was like, did that say Argonauts or Blue Jays? Like, that doesn't make any sense,
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Argos are taking on the Pats here, laying down the smackdown.
That's it. Oh, that's awesome.
All right, sweet. So are you ready to hop into the Point Claire Parks Program roll call?
Absolutely.
All right. So to give you guys a little bit of a quick little introduction, it's a little segment Matt and I put together since it's the first time we're working together on a show. We decided let's put something a little bit unique into your regular programming. So both of us grew up in Point Claire. We went to school together, and we also took part in this thing called Point Claire Parks Program. It's like a free drop-in program for kids set up at parks around the city. You can go in. They're there from 9:30 to 4:30 every day. You pop in as a kid. You want to go home, play video games. You go home. But the beauty of the program was everybody that went pretty much stayed all day because they just wanted to be there. So we've had the pleasure of meeting some pretty interesting people over the years. A lot of athletes, a lot of whatnot, playing all over. But one of them being Mikey Matheson, Point Claire native, homegrown talent, somebody, everybody who knew him is pretty proud of. Everybody that knew him knows that this guy deserves everything he's gotten. And, I'm happy to see him back in Montreal. So, Matt, I don't know if you want to say a quick 2 cents, and then I'll give a little bit of rundown of Mikey's career up until this point and what got him to Montreal.
Yeah, no, it's great to see. You love to see the hometown kids come back. And it was one of those things, you know how when a trade happens, whether it's big or small, the first thing you think to do is analyze who won the trade.
Yeah.
My first reaction was just like, fuck, this is cool.
Yeah.
I honestly, it could have been anybody on the team. That would have been my first reaction, then analyze, rather than how we're geared to do here in Montreal is analyze anything first and look at things after. But I just remember being like, man, this is really cool to have one of Point Claire's own come back and represent the Habs. This is going to be really cool.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm excited for it. I'm hoping that things work out for him in Montreal. I mean, he's coming into a good situation where he can take a good leadership role in the team and run with it. I think the best part is that Ken Hughes mentioned in his press conference that he's been following Mikey since his midget AAA days. So for those that don't know, Mikey played for the Lions out here in the West Island. In his second year, he was captain with some pretty notable names on the team too at the time. Jonathan Drouet was on the team. Anthony Duclair was on the team. And my personal favorite was Matt Mackenzie's very own younger brother, Rob Mackenzie, on that roster. So
yeah, he wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad. But yeah, no, Mikey's a good kid. I think the fans are going to love him. I'm glad to see that his game's picked back up. He had a little bit of a stumbling block there in Florida. I think part of it's a little bit of high expectations. After his 2016 World Championships, he was named best defenseman in the tournament, named to the All-Star team. You know, expectations run rampant, and then it just didn't seem like he fit well in Quenneville's system, but he's found his game in Pittsburgh, and I'm excited to see what he does in Montreal.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is one of those times, again, where we're definitely biased. We're not holding it back. We're definitely biased. But this
biased.
is one, yeah, we're just hoping. I hope he becomes a Norris. Like, honestly, like, just please become the best defender in all of the sport, because the whole city has his back, especially our little pocket here in Pointe Claire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you're here, once Pointe Claire, always Pointe Claire.
Yeah.
You want to hear what I'm really excited for about this? His wife, Emily Fauser, played for Team USA in the Olympics on top of U18 and everything, and has a gold medal by beating Canada. So can you imagine their kids playing in, like, Pointe Claire hockey eventually when they, like, grow older and everything? Like, they're just going to dominate. Like, you have two great hockey players, and they're just going to wreck everyone around them.
That's true. That's a good point. There's going to be a ton of pedigree in that kid.
It's going to be a super breed of hockey athlete.
No. So now the real question is, which one of us becomes a real estate agent and gets them to move back to Pointe Claire for sure? That kid's got to grow up in Pointe Claire.
Yeah, we got to start a little, like, not necessarily a GoFundMe. We got to start some sort of PSA. Yeah. Bring Mikey home.
But definitely,
that's a long drive to Brossard every day for practice and everything. Like, that's gotta suck.
Oh, that's brutal. I used to do it for flag, so I couldn't imagine doing it at, like, anywhere near rush hour.
But the good news doesn't stop there for those Pointe Claire kids. As another one of our own, Archer Brookman just signed his first professional contract with Detroit. It was it's a really cool deal. This is a young guy that I believe both of us had the opportunity to be his leader at this Parks program, and I think that's a bigger deal because he's going to play baseball, and I struck him out once. We're going to forget the fact he was 12 and I was probably 21, but still a huge deal.
Man, kudos, because I was going to provide my own little anecdote. First time I played stickball with Archer, same thing. He's 12. I'm 21, 22. So, I'm pitching, and, I bring relative heat to all the kids, depending on what age you were, so they can at least hit the ball. Archer walks up to the plate, and I'm like, I know this kid plays baseball. I'm throwing it as fast as I can at this kid. I'm going to strike him out. First pitch, no doubter, gone over the fence. I just walked off the mound. I was like, no, I have no ego left. It's over.
I think the term relative heat is the funniest thing I've ever heard. That is fantastic. But honestly, though, a big congrats to him and his whole family. His younger sister is now a leader. Actually, I saw her the other day. I was very happy to see that. And on a serious note, in Archer's last game in college, he hit an absolute fucking bomb to left center, I think it was. I know a few of the guys were there. It was absolutely unreal. My boy Matty Meeks showed me the clip. I was so proud for him. It's a great story.
Yeah, happy for him. Hope he makes it. Good luck, Archer. One last thing I will say: great number. Stick with 29, man. It won't fail you. Keep it going. But I will say, I found a funny clip digging this up on Twitter. I should not have been trying to strike him out. I should have gone with this strategy.
Oh, the clip on Twitter, essentially?
Yeah.
All right, let me get
this should have been. This is what I should have done to him.
Oh.
How does that even happen?
Oh my god. That is
Do you get ejected for doing that if it's accidental? Like, what happens?
I'm not happy about it. It's funny to watch, but I'm sad. I'm like, the last few times I've seen Archer, he's always got a huge smile on his face. So I feel like he's the last person that deserves this. But it's fun. It's a fun clip now that we know he's okay.
Absolutely.
And my last question about that clip is, I wonder who got that and sent that. John, if you know, don't say anything. My guess, because of what that said, it's something along the lines of, "Hey Archer, how does wood taste?" My money has to be on Braden Walker. I feel that's a very Braden thing to say.
I would put money on that too. I don't actually remember who found that clip, but like, you know, I would put that in like the Braden, like the Josh Callahan, kind of all those guys. Someone in that crew definitely found that video and immediately tagged him in it.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great clip. I love that. But again, bring it back. Let's just say congratulations, Archer.
Yeah, great congrats, stuff. Archer. Good luck, man. So yeah, nice little PCPP roll call. So without further ado, let's throw it over to the rapid fire.
All right, for rapid fire this week, we got 5 of them, and we're going to start with our first one here. Paul Byron helped save a pilot of a crashed seaplane. On a recent fishing trip, Habs breakaway legend Paul Byron and crew, family members, etc., caught more than they expected when a seaplane just started sinking and drowning essentially where they were fishing. Like, it crashed. It's the story of how it actually got in the water is still a little bit strange. But essentially, they had to go save this person who was in their plane, and he actually had to publish a statement about how it wasn't him, it was a bunch of people who basically rescued the pilot, and they're all heroes and the whole stuff. But yeah, just a crazy story, eh?
Man.
Everything about that's wild. Everything about it.
Oh, yeah. So I did a little bit of digging on this. I will say the pilot is in stable condition in the hospital, but man, my first thought was this Serge Labelle guy must be quick, because if you're going to beat Paul Byron to something, you got to be moving. If you're beating breakaway Byron to like you know, the puck, or I guess in this case a plane, like, you got to be hustling.
It's true. I mean, and like, thank you for bringing up that he seems to be doing okay, because I was chuckling while that story was being told, because breakaway legend, like what a great thing to just have tagged to your name, just breakaway legend. Love it. Good for Paul Byron. What a hero. Yeah,
and I appreciate him throwing out the credit where it was due.
Of course.
But you know, credit to all of them. Apparently they all jumped in, they all helped out. Like, you know, they all had their own little part in trying to get this guy to safety. So good for them. Glad to hear he's okay. And Serge Labelle, you're clearly one fast motherfucker, so good for you.
Yeah.
All right, our next one. Bart Scott prefers Jameis Winston over Dak Prescott. In what could only be deemed a rough week for the guy, Bart Scott proclaims for the world on live television that he would rather Winston over Dak in this particular clip.
I would still right now put Jameis. I'd rather have Jameis Winston than I'd rather have Dak Prescott, because when you look at Jameis Winston was in an imperfect situation. Yes. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Let it sink in.
Bart, come on, man. We can't be making just wild, outlandish statements.
Man, I love RG3's reaction to that video.
I was just gonna say, I was trying. I'm not gonna lie. I was trying to find, like, how can I come up with like worse takes. I really can't find anything. It was like, it's what a horrible take. And then I guess the only thing that could have made that better is maybe if Stephen A was on with them as well, because he would have probably had a heart attack.
Oh yeah, 100%. He would have straight gone into a fury of rage.
Yeah.
But you know what? He may have sided with Bart Scott just for the sole fact that Dak's a Cowboy.
That's true.
He would have just egged on that entire fan base purposely.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, now I wish he was there even more.
Yeah. Oh man, but Bart Scott had a pretty bad week for his takes, man. Like, I'm not a Dak fan by any means, but man, Jameis, there's a lot of other quarterbacks. He must have been trying to go for that name to emphasize a point, but man, there's probably about 14 names between Dak and Jameis you could have gone with.
And the best part is he never backed down either. Like, he saw the reaction and just kind of like holding strong. He could have hit with, okay, maybe not Jameis and gone somewhere else, but he didn't do it. Like, stay strong on your point.
Could have thrown out that W and started eating it on live TV.
All right, next. Chess robot attacks child. In Russia, a child does not beat a chess-playing robot. The chess-playing robot breaks you, quite literally. We actually have the clip of it from this tournament. essentially what it's been explained is the kid was playing too fast, and the chess robot grabbed his finger to try and move it as if it was a piece, and ended up getting stuck like this. They couldn't undo it, and it's the kid's fault, according to the chess tournament organizers, because he disrespected the rules of engagement with this robot. I don't know.
Man, I never thought I'd see the day where chess needed an injury report.
You know what the best part is? I'm really glad you phrased it that way. I looked up the injury report. Are you ready for this? He had a broken finger, but continued on in the tournament.
I saw that. Kudos to that kid.
What? Just this, the heart of this kid to be beaten up by Machine and come back even stronger and play in the cast.
Doesn't even flinch either. It didn't really seem like there was much panic in, like, once that robot grabbed his finger, there was a little bit of like a "what are you doing, get off me" moment, and like trying to get out, but there was no arm flailing, there was no like inflatable arm tube man like scene or anything like that. He kept his composure. Kid's a champion. Honestly,
if we look at the clip, maybe it looks like he's ready to punch it. Like, I see a little fist.
Yeah. It looked like some violence was about to come out.
Yeah. But seriously though, that's a bit crazy. I mean, imagine you're playing a robot, and then the robot decides you're going too fast, and then it's your fault.
I'm torn between like how to actually judge this, because on one side I love the whole like, yeah, you're injured but you keep playing, right? Like the hockey grit mentality. And on the other side, it's fucking chess. Like, how soft are you to actually get injured playing chess? Like, it just doesn't make any sense, you know? Like, I can't tell if your hero's LeBron James or someone in the NHL.
That's a really good point. Because if this story gets skimmed over, this kid can get rinsed for the rest of his life. Broke finger playing chess. If that's the headline only, what are you doing about it?
Man, I wonder, like, what if the robot did it on purpose?
It's true.
What if this is the first step of like, we're all fucked?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's the chess playing robot that snapped, and then the rest of the machines just banded together behind this one figure and then just took over.
Like, he has like audio sensors. The kid's like smack talking him or something. He's like, "No, I'm gonna teach you a fucking lesson. Let's go."
Yeah. Imagine the AI now has an ego. We're absolutely fucked. He's about to be beaten by a 7-year-old, and he was like, "Nope."
This is how I end this match quickly.
All right, next one. Juan Soto doesn't like money. After rejecting a 15-year, $440 million extension, trade rumors run rampant among rival MLB fan bases as to who will eventually acquire Juan Soto. Who are your favorites to land a generational star, and what price tag do you think he's actually asking for?
This is absolutely crazy. I mean, I think this story should not be about Juan Soto and be about how stupid the money is in baseball. Like, just imagine an NHL player was even offered half of this, and then they said no.
It honestly might be like, this is like what, 440. So this is almost like 5 NHL teams full roster salary.
Yeah.
In one contract.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
it's
even
way more than that, honestly. Like, just per year he's at $30 million, right? Like,
yeah.
That's like your first line by itself, like right there in the NHL. That makes no sense.
Yeah, your first line of a really good team.
Yeah.
Your first line
was Crosby, Malkin, and someone else, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man, this guy's got balls.
I can see him going. I mean, when you see a price tag like that, you have to assume like the big players, like your Yankees, your Red Sox, your Dodgers. I think I read a quick article. Maybe the Cardinals are being considered as well. If he's not coming to Toronto, just stay the fuck away from the AL East. That's all I want. That's all I want.
I would love it if this was like the moment in time where like the Oakland A's were like, this is what we pay money for.
I was just going to say that, actually. Like, they go all in on one player, right? Just like, you know what? We've been a budget team our entire life, but this is the moment.
Oh my, this is actually a great idea. Moneyball Part 2. Forget the money. We're just going all in.
All right, and our last one for today, Kyler of Duty. an interesting trend has been brought up on Twitter, correlating Kyler Murray's on-field performance as it relates to the annual release of the Call of Duty series, and it seems to be a pretty recurring pattern, essentially, in how his performance has been, where the orange line is when the Call of Duty game actually comes out, and the blue dots are the fantasy points for each of those different games and everything. The correlation is honestly pretty significant. This is strange how very specific it actually is in terms of the trend. This was brought up because of that stipulation in his contract where he has to spend 4 hours of individual film review time. I think it was something along those lines. But there's two parts of these graphs that make me laugh. So in this first one, 2019, this was clearly the year that he discovered Call of Duty, because those first 3 games after it came out, he was still good and then plummeted. So that's when he discovered what Call of Duty was, and he was like, oh man, I don't need football. I can just do this all day.
That was, you honestly, that first graphic was pretty, it showed the trend of someone who's getting into a game where they're dabbling. Oh, I could play here and there. Oh, fuck, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Straight down.
You know what? I can't.
2020, it's the same story, right? Immediately after it comes out, he's like, I fucked up last year. I played too much and everything. I'll just do a little bit, try it out, see how it is, and then immediately gets hooked all over again. And down the rabbit hole you go.
2020 was the, okay, I'll try my best. Last 1 week, and stuff.
And in 2021, it was just, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't even say I blame him. When I first got introduced to Call of Duty and Nazi zombies, I don't think I went to school for an entire semester. I'm not sure I saw the sun for a month, so I'm not about to be pointing fingers.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
So now that we've seen this graph for Kyler Murray in Call of Duty, I want to see Patrick Laine in Fortnite.
Oh, yeah. Someone's got to get that out.
Oh, 100%. It's probably going to be so much worse. It's just going to be I'm going the wrong way in the camera. It's just going to be like this.
Every time there's a brand new patch update and everything, it just tanks his performance. Then it kind of quiets down, spikes back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Road trips are suddenly worse because you have more time in the hotel to do nothing.
That's amazing. Whoever put that up, I'm not sure if he's a hero or just what are you doing with your time? But at the same, fair enough. That's really funny. Really, really funny.
And that's going to be our show for this week, boys. Thanks for covering for Terry and Peeze. You guys did a great job over here. Anything fun this week, Matt? Articles or content that you're working on?
The CF Montreal play on Saturday. And then got the AEW article dropped this morning. Big show coming up tomorrow night. And Saturday's my birthday.
Awesome. Well, happy birthday. That's great.
Happy early birthday.
Yeah. And my favorite soccer team play on my birthday for the first time and probably the only time ever because of the World Cup being in Qatar and how the World Cup should be right now, but it's 1 billion degrees in Qatar, so it's going to happen in December. So the season got moved up a little bit, and I'm going to watch the boys play on my birthday, so it's sick. That's the plan.
Anything new for you right now? Basically doing nothing.
No.
Waiting for the NHL?
Waiting for the NHL. Trying to get out of busy season at work, which both line up perfectly. So for now, I'm furiously trying to break 90 at the golf course, and it's not going well. So I'm usually cruising till about hole 13, and then it gets in my head. I'm like, okay, today could be the day I could break 90, and then it's an instant implosion, instant. And we're gonna get there one day. When I do, you guys will know.
Look forward to it.
All right, awesome. We'll be hearing back from Terry and Peeze when they get back from their European vacations. As for now, I have been the Eagle at Master Control. Thank you all for letting me be myself, but also Peeze for letting him be himself, Peeze self, something like that. This works in concept, not in reality. Okay, bye!
Night, guys.